So we have an injury. Elfrid Payton is going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks. So that's a great way to go after we beat the Rockets in Game 1. We're going to lose our backup point guard, which means the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Jackson is up. He's a good shot maker and a good athlete. Should be a good shooter as well. His problem is he's not a good playmaker, doesn't read the defense well, and that kind of thing. But I think he'll be okay enough for us in a limited role. So he's in there. Notice Jarrett Jack isn't here yet because I forgot to do it at this moment. But don't worry, that's coming. What's more important, though, is we're 5-3 at the moment, which is not bad, but it's definitely not where we want to be. So what's happening? Well, we're in the middle of the conference. That's an accomplishment, I guess, in the West. So number 1, AD is doing his thing, but I want more than 23-10 for Anthony Davis, you know? The expectation for him should probably be something more like 28-12. So, you know, you mess with the shot tendencies a little bit. This is always a thing in these series. I don't think this will be too much trouble moving forward, but he's still really good, but he could definitely give us a little bit more. Now, what's helping is that Mirotic is growing into a legit second scorer for us. I mean, he definitely has offensive chops. I wasn't expecting 17.5 points a game on some pretty damn good efficiency as well. Now, whether this holds up, I don't know. I would expect him to probably dip down to closer to like 14 points a game. I think that's more like what he actually is. But maybe it's a little better. We'll have to see. On the flip side, Drew is having a tough time. The guy can't make a shot to save his life at the moment. Below 40% from the field, below 30% from 3. I mean, he's still good because he's a defender and a playmaker, but Drew, we're going to need you to make some shots, man. Or the idea of trading for a Kemba Walker type player is going to be a bit more accelerated, I guess. Yeah, just simply has to be better. I mean, I know his threes aren't the best. I mean, his percentage was a little lower last year, but my God, I wasn't expecting that low. Luckily for us, other guys are making their threes. Darius Miller, he had a game against the Blazers recently, 4 for 5 from outside, 22 points. Darius can't do too much, and what's kind of funny is the Pelicans drafted him like a while ago. He played like 2 years, seemed like a dude who was never going to get NBA minutes, then he didn't even play for a couple seasons, and now he's a knockdown shooter. So the guy figured out how to make it work, and he's definitely making it work for us here, as he had that game against the Blazers, and there's no real reason to not keep on playing him 20-plus minutes a night, I would say. If we remember that game against the Rockets, well, not just Darius Miller, but our shooters in general, that was a key to us winning that game, and I think that's going to be huge for us just going forward if we can just have a flurry of outside shooting between Darius Miller, Nikola Mirotic, Etuan Moore, and if Jrue Holiday wants to get it going, then that would be huge as well. Moving on to Solomon Hill, he's actually kind of joining the three-point party a little bit as well. Now, he's only shooting 35% on 2 attempts a game, but I think that's about all we can really hope from him. And that's what I was hoping for when I decided to start him. And this game against the Warriors is probably the best game you can ask of him, where he put up 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, or whatever it was. He's not a box score guy. He is overpaid at $13 million. He really should be getting paid about half of that. But he can at least do something. Don't play him too many minutes. Don't expect him to put up a whole lot of points, and just ask him to play defense and all that and just kind of fit with everybody else, and he ain't bad. You know, Solomon's not bad. He's doing what I want him to do, and that's good enough. Now, Julius Randle is actually doing a little bit more than I would have asked him to do, to the point where I think Julius has been great. 12 points, 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists per game as well, by the way. He was huge against the Nuggets. And we're going to dive into this Nuggets game a little bit more, because I think it was a pretty impressive performance to beat them in Denver the way we did. But Julius is fitting into that role greatly. Yeah, that's a word. Whether it's playing power forward with Anthony Davis at center, or playing center with Mirotic at the 4 spot, or maybe playing power forward with either Jahlil Okafor or Cheick Diallo at center, whatever it may be, Julius is able to just do enough. You know, he's athletic enough to play the 4, he's strong enough to play the 5, he's a good rebounder no matter where you put him, and he didn't even get enough shine in that Rockets video. Like, you know, you saw this rebounds, but I think after that, a lot of the stuff he did kind of went, it got lost to the editing bay, if you will. Offensive rebounds, cuts to the basket, and one particular possession where we were pretty much dead. I didn't know what to do, and then he just kind of cut from the corner, and we were able to get a bucket. So Julius has been awesome. And all of this has allowed us to be a mid-tier offensive team, which I think is an accomplishment for us. However, our defense has been a little bit of a disappointment as we are 11th. That's not good enough. If we are 11th in defense, we're probably not going to make the playoffs because we don't have a second big-time scorer, so we're going to have to be a little bit better. This defensive performance against the Nuggets, this is the type of game I'm looking at because we won this one in Denver, which is a very difficult place to play, against a high-powered offensive team, and we held them to 96 points. And you look at Nikola Jokic, he only had 11 points, 4 for 10 from the field. I'm going to attribute that mainly to Anthony Davis because with so many shooters on this team, you can't double-team that often. So AD just locking up Jokic to where he's not able to do what he does, which is pretty much everything. Shooting, posting up, going off the dribble. Just didn't have a good game. Gary Harris, a similar thing, 3 for 11, 2 for 9 from outside. Whether that was Drew or Solomon Hill or Anthony Davis switching, that's what we need, okay? That's how we are going to be a decent team because we do not have enough talent on offense to make up for mistakes at other places. We have to be razor sharp pretty much at all times. And if we can lock up these perimeter dudes, and Jamal Murray didn't even have that great of a game either. I think he finished with like 15 points. Then that's how we're going to win. So that's great. That's the kind of game I'm looking for. Could say that's the best game we've had outside of the Houston one. But then this one against the Clippers, what's going on here, man? I mean, a blowout in New Orleans. Number one, our three-point shooters were not the best. I mean, Darius Miller, 2 for 6. Nico didn't make one at all. So, yeah, that's the three-point pendulum of sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't, and when it doesn't, it can be pretty rough. But I'm not going to say that was the main reason we lost, because we still put up 108 points in this game. That should be enough for us to win. So what happened was the defense was terrible. Montrezl Harrell had 18, Boban had 12, above Montrezl, Patrick Beverley with 21 points. That's just unacceptable, man. And it's weird because you'd think with that performance against the Nuggets in Denver, we wouldn't have a problem with lesser players in New Orleans, but for whatever reason, it just wasn't the case. I think some of this is teammate chemistry, which matters in 2K, and I think that's a fine thing to have. And our chemistry isn't like through the roof because there were some changes in the offseason, but this is still not okay. And if we have more games like that, then we're not making the postseason. If we would have just simply gave up big nights to Tobias Harris and Lou Williams, that would have been fine, but those other dudes can't have that. So we're not perfect right now. We've lost at least one game we should have won, but I don't think we're in too bad of shape. Also, Jarrett Jack's on the team. Emeka Okafor is off the team moving forward. And what better way to end a video than Jarrett Jack just staring at you? I'll see you on the next one.